You've probably heard of cortisol, which has been dubbed the stress hormone for its role in the body's fight or flight response. But did you know that under normal circumstances, it also plays a role in maintaining overall homeostasis in the body by regulating metabolism, blood pressure, sleep-wake cycles, inflammation, blood sugar, and your response to all of life's physical and mental stressors? However, when cortisol is chronically elevated, usually in the face of chronic, unrelenting stress, a variety of health problems can result. Fortunately, there's a lot you can do from a lifestyle perspective to keep cortisol levels in check and, in turn, optimize overall health. Below, we'll break down the role of cortisol in the body, what contributes to elevated cortisol, the consequences of elevated cortisol, how to lower cortisol levels naturally, the role of the hormone cortisol. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that's produced by the adrenal glands, which are situated right on a daily basis. The release of cortisol is closely related to your body's circadian rhythms, with about 50 to 60% of cortisol being released in the first 30 to 40 minutes after waking up. From there, levels fall and reach their lowest point around bedtime. Cortisol is basically the hormone that allocates resources in the body, so we're prepared for daily activity, says Dr. Bill Rawls, MD, Medical Director of Vital Plan. We have a rise in cortisol in the early morning hours that wakes us up, gets us moving, and increases metabolism. In the evening, the decline in cortisol levels initiates a tide of calming hormones such as melatonin and GABA that prepare us for rest and repair mode so that cells can recover from the day's activities. Levels of cortisol can also surge during times of stress. When you experience distressing thoughts, traumatic or life-threatening events, or even challenging health conditions, the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, becomes activated, which, in turn, triggers the body's fight or flight response, and your adrenal glands release stress hormones as a result. Our fight or flight response was only meant to be activated in short bursts of true danger, say, when a tiger is approaching. The hormones adrenaline and cortisol prepare you to think and act fast by increasing glucose levels in the bloodstream as a quick source of fuel and boosting blood flow to the brain and muscles. In the process, however, cortisol diverts resources from less essential functions, at least from a survival standpoint, such as digestion, the reproductive system, and healing and repair processes. All of this is well and good, as long as the stress isn't constant. When the perceived threat subsides, hormone levels return to normal, which results in heart rate, blood pressure, and blood glucose dropping back to a healthy range and other bodily systems resuming normal activities. But given the chronically stressful nature of modern life, our fight or flight response has the potential to be activated almost constantly. The tiger never goes away, says Dr. Rawls. Together, a never-ending onslaught of work deadlines, mortgage payments, and family obligations, along with excessive screen time and negative news stories, can all sound the danger alarm bells and lead to repeated activation of your stress response. If you're punching that alert button all the time, your cortisol and adrenaline levels will remain elevated, says Dr. Rawls, and this can trigger problems throughout the body. The consequences of chronically elevated cortisol: if you don't have healthy practices in place to periodically break the stress cycle, elevated cortisol may contribute to the following issues. Sleep problems: elevated cortisol into the evening hours keeps your body revved up and blocks sleep, says. Poor sleep then compounds stress, creating a vicious cycle, and if you're never getting a good night's rest, your cells don't have an opportunity to repair and recover, and your body starts breaking down. Even one night of poor sleep can activate inflammatory cellular pathways. Not to mention, poor sleep can contribute to poor mood, irritability, and brain fog. Hormone imbalances. You can think of cortisol as a master hormone, so when levels are out of whack, it's going to lead to a cascade of other hormonal imbalances, according to Dr. Rawls. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.